In 3 months, Rebecca dropped a day at her full-time job and went from 5 sleep clients to 12 clients. And she didn't work more hours. She didn't hustle harder. She changed one thing. And if you're working full-time right now and you're also trying to build your sleep consultancy business on the side and you're stuck in that chicken and egg trap where you need more time to build income but need income to buy time, then this video is for you, because by the end of it, you're going to know exactly what changed for Rebecca, the model, why it worked, and how to do it yourself. So let me show you where Rebecca was 3 months ago. 5 clients a month. That's all she could handle around her full-time job. And here's the math. 5 clients at an average of £200 each, around £1,000 a month. And over a year, that's £12,000. And that's assuming that she was filling every single month and there were no seasonal dips, no quiet months. And she was also working 30 to 40 hours a month for that. And of course, between sessions, she had the follow-ups and she had the WhatsApp messages. She had all the things going on. And she had no capacity to take on more clients. Her calendar between the full-time job and sleep consultancy was full. And here's the trap that kept her stuck. When she was busy at work, she couldn't market herself. And when she had capacity, she had to scramble to get clients. It was feast or famine, but the feast was capped at 5 clients. And if she wanted to double her income to £2,000 a month, even just to consider reducing her hours at work, she needed at least 10 clients a month. And based on how she was currently working, that's 60 to 80 hours a month, plus her full-time job, plus parenting. That is not sustainable. That is burnout. So she tried what everyone tries first. She posted more content. That didn't increase her capacity. She raised her prices, still capped at 5 clients, because the problem wasn't effort. She was working hard. The problem was the container. The one-to-one model is a capped container. So think of it a bit like a bucket. You can only fit so much water in before it overflows. And she was at capacity, 5 clients. That was her ceiling. And that's when she found Scale and Thrive. And here's the first thing that we did. We didn't build a program. We got specific, because here's what most people get wrong. They think, I'm going to create a program for sleep, but that's too broad. That's like saying, I help everyone with everything. And when you try to serve everyone, you don't serve anyone very well. So we asked, well, who do you serve best? Where are they on their journey and what specific outcome do they want? And we went through a very deep research process to get clear on that. And then it clicked for her, because Rebecca was working pretty much full-time herself, and a lot of her clients were high-achieving working parents as well. And she wasn't just helping families with sleep, she was helping families going back to work, parents who needed their child sleeping through the night, or at least significantly experiencing reduced night waking before returning to their job. And she was dealing with parents who were anxious about leaving their children, parents who felt guilty about the role of sleep training and wanted to do this in a very gentle and responsive way, but were, also desperate for sleep. And that's specific. That's a niche. And here's why that matters. When you get that specific, everything becomes clearer. Your messaging, your curriculum, your marketing, because you're not speaking to everyone. You're speaking to one person at one stage of their journey, and they're looking for one specific outcome. And that's what we call the transformation, the 0 to hero journey. And her clients, when they met her, were at 0, exhausted, anxious about going back to work, guilty about needing more sleep and wanting to perform well at work. And the program was going to take them to their hero journey, confident, their baby sleeping through the night, ready to go back to work without guilt or exhaustion. And that was the bridge that we needed to build. So once the niche was clear, the next question was, well, how do you actually build this? How do you take families from exhausted and anxious to confident and ready to go back to work? And how do you do it without working one-to-one, where of course the assumption is that this is where you get to go super deep with people? And that's when we changed the engine, because the one-to-one model is like a car with one seat, and you can only take one person at a time. But a group coaching program, same engine, just more seats. And it's built on what I call the 3 C's. You got the curriculum, you got the community, and you got the coaching. So first of all, the curriculum. So this is her expertise packaged into a step-by-step transformation journey. The steps to get families across that bridge. And here's the key. This isn't just about information. Like, people can Google that. This is transformation. She was already getting results for her one-to-one clients who were going through a similar process. So what we did is we just documented it, we packaged it, and we really looked at all the families that she had worked with and all the families that we had interviewed to deeply understand who her ideal client was. And we created the curriculum around that. And it covered absolutely everything. And the beautiful thing about having this packaged curriculum is that now families can access it when they need it. And if that's 3 o'clock in the morning, well, that's 3 o'clock in the morning. And they're no longer having to wait for Katie's next one-to-one call. They have everything that they need. They're empowered to move forward. And in a one-to-one model, she might say the same thing 3 times across 3 different calls. With the curriculum, she just got to say it once perfectly, and families could rewatch it. And so she started repeating herself live and started delivering the transformation once and properly. Now, second is community. So individual coaching happens in isolation. It's in those little silos, but group coaching happens in the community. And community is where the magic happens. It's a private space where her families, her mothers could support each other. Families going back to work all at the same stage, all facing similar challenges, a few weeks ahead of others. And so what was great there is that they were able to encourage people. And for those families who were a little bit further ahead in the process, well, they were able to encourage families who were just starting out. And for those who were looking to those parents further ahead, well, they were inspired by the progress that they were getting, but also how they were able to navigate everything going on above and beyond sleep. So she wasn't the only lifeline anymore. The community became its own support system. And this created something that a one-on-one model never could: connection, accountability, the knowledge that you're not alone at 2 a.m. when your baby won't sleep. Now, the third thing is coaching. So with Rebecca, she showed up twice a week on a group call. She answered questions. She was providing guidance, helping families work through challenges. But instead of helping one family at a time, she was helping 12 families. And here's why this works so well. These families are all on the same journey. They're all going back to work. They're all at the same stage. They're all facing the same challenges at the same time. So when she answers one question, she's answering it for all 12 families who need that same guidance. And for those a little behind, they're inspired and they're learning from the people ahead of them. Same depth, same care, but now she has leverage. And here's what's incredible. Her clients today get better results than her one-to-one clients ever did. Why? Because they get this ongoing support, not exhausted. She's not overwhelmed. She's not trying to remember the details of 12 different sleep plans across 12 different WhatsApp threads. She can show up as her best, and she can coach at such a deep level with these families, and she can support them in the community. And when you're serving 12 families through a proven system, all on the same journey, you deliver consistent, high quality transformation. And when you're juggling 5 clients in a one-to-one session across evenings and weekends, and you're constantly switching context, and that can really lead to a quick level of burnout. So the 3 C's created that accelerated learning environment where families could learn and implement fast while giving her massive time freedom. And she wasn't giving less, she was giving more, just in a different container. So the program was built and the beta was sold out, and 12 families signed up, and she was still working her full-time job, still parenting her child, and she ran the beta live, teaching sessions, weekly coaching calls, community support, getting feedback in real time, and she paid off her investment in full to Scale and Thrive. But here's the part that matters more than the income. She dropped a day at her job, has 8 hours a week back, 1 day closer to running her business full-time, 1 day more with her child, and 1 day less borrowing energy from tomorrow. And here's the math. Before Scale and Thrive, 5 clients a month at an average of £200 each, that was around £1,000 a month, £12,000 a year, £12,000 a year if every month stayed full. And after, 12 families in her beta at £439 each, that's £5,268 in one launch. Same expertise, same care, but now the container can grow. And she told me something that really stuck with me. She said the first Saturday morning she had fully off, she sat with her child at breakfast and realized she hadn't done that in months. And that's what this is really about, not revenue, just building something that respects your capacity, that doesn't demand you to sacrifice your life to build the business. And look, this isn't passive income. This isn't hands off. She still shows up. She still coaches. She still cares deeply about the family she serves, but she's not working inside a capped container anymore. She's working inside a model that allows her to grow. So if you're starting to see that the issue isn't how hard you're working, but the container you're working inside, I've created another video on this channel where I break down why so many sleep consultants get stuck at around the £2,000 to £3,000 a month mark, even when they're brilliant at what they do, and the invisible ceiling that almost no one talks about. And I'd really recommend that you watch that. So I've got a link to it right here, and you can also check out the link below. And if you want to explore what it looks like to change the container, not just work harder inside of it, well, you can book a call with me, and the link's also below. You can use the QR code that's on the screen right now. But I will say, this isn't for everyone. If you're already supporting families, you're getting results, you're feeling maxed out, and that doesn't matter if that's 5 clients or 10 clients or 15 clients a month, and you just feel like the model that you're using right now has a ceiling and it's not working for you anymore, then I'd love to connect. All right, so thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to hear your takeaways in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.